Hey Brickmaniacs, welcome back to another Friday Sit Rep. We have a lot to get to this week, including the World War II U.S. Marine Flamethrower Operator featuring the new Brick Arms Flamethrower, which is absolutely awesome. So we'll take a little closer look at that with Landon, along with a whole bunch of other awesome stuff. So let's get started. All right, so we're kicking things off with Great War Bricks pre-orders. This is the AEGG4. We have Brennan, our project manager, taking a little closer look at this wildly colored and very unique looking plane. I already like some of the nose art we have going on here, but tell me a little bit more about this model.
Well, this was made by Andrea, this particular model, very lovingly, as I can see from all of the very intricate patterns that he's gone with. For this one, as you can already see, as you mentioned before, you've got these really strange whale eyes. I remember you mentioning earlier. Definitely looks straight out of Pinocchio. He's also going to have a pretty fierce mouth going on the underside here as well.
Very cool.
On both sides. Didn't quite go all the way around the front, but it still looks fierce. Yeah, this thing is interesting. This was definitely more of a late war in its prominence. As far as the First World War goes. Mostly a night bomber, which is why you've got this really unique, kind of strange...
awesome colors.
Seriously,
yeah.
It's all meant to be dark. It's meant to break it up when it's going over the trenches, because you wouldn't readily recognize, you're like, what the heck is this strange colors? It kind of breaks up in the darkness. And so, it's going over there and just both acting as a like strategic bombers, so actually meant to take out targets, and also just kind of a pest. If you know the Night Witches, for example, in the Second World War, a lot of their work was just keeping the Germans awake 24/7, and this did a very similar job of that. You'll get a three-man crew with this, so you've got your, I believe, observer, your rear gunner, and you got your pilot kind of tucked in there. You're going to have two sets of machine guns. Right now we've only got the one sitting on the back here that's meant to be an MG-15 or MG-08-15, and you'll get another one sitting up here with the observer. Printed props as per usual. As I mentioned, you've got the whole whale face going on.
Looks like we got some brick-built bombs underneath here.
Yep, classic. Very sturdy landing gear. I was definitely very skeptical initially when I put them on, but they're tough.
Nice.
Very, very pleased with that. And then we'll also finally have some printing along both sides of the back that will be, you'll get a Roman numeral 7, that's based off the model that we were looking at. You'll get the Iron Cross on there, and then you'll get the actual designation AEGG4 something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but we pulled those off a plane as well. Stickers are on the top with crosses here and here. I believe we might also have them on the bottom. Not that you would see them much with this model. But yeah, just a lot of really fun and intricate detail. Oh, there is one thing that Andrea mentioned to me that I was curious about when I was building this. But you can see on the underside, you've got a little hole here. And I didn't quite find the perfect way to do this, but there's a jumper stuck up in there, and you can technically mount this gun in there, poking out the bottom, because that's technically something the gunner back there could do. He could pull it off its mount and shove it out the bottom in case he was either shooting at something that he was being pursued by, or if something was on the ground that he wanted to strafe. Bizarre but fun little detail there for you, so yeah. It's just a really cool model.
Yeah, very, very awesome. Definitely another unique addition to the Great War Bricks lineup. The color schemes, I can't get over them. They continue to impress every week, and this is definitely no exception. Available for pre-order right now on brickmania.com. Brennan, thanks for checking in. All right, so now we're checking in with Nate, taking a little closer look at the Newport 11 with Italian markings. I can already tell that we've got some interesting artwork going on the side of this.
This is the face that Katya wanted on the plane. That is indeed awesome. A face, and that is the nicest thing I'm going to say about the face. But everyone else here likes it, so good. Yeah.
So the Newport and Italian markings, kind of a unique addition, but considering it's done by Andrea, I suppose it makes sense.
No, it's done by Katya.
Okay,
no.
Fair enough.
Are you assuming that only an Italian makes Italian stuff? Yeah, so the Newport 11 was a French-made plane built in... Good question. was introduced in 1916, but this is a French plane given to the Italians on the front, so the Italians could have something to fly and fight with. This one is specifically based off of an actual one. The pilot that will be in the plane is named Alvaro Leonardi.
Okay, very cool.
Interesting tidbit. He actually shot down a lunar flying boat and basically made the crew surrender.
Oh wow! Okay.
So you could get those two in conjunction. Yeah, you can get those two in conjunction with one another, and it would be sort of accurate.
That'd be a cool mock.
Yeah. Yeah, you could just have, like, I don't know, like rugged mountain, park the plane here, the other plane, let's say it's parked or crashed. I don't know what happened. We got some stickers on the bottom because we are not printing on the underneath the bricks. But yeah, it's because
complete the color scheme.
Yeah, just have a true color scheme on the sides as well. Let's see, props will be printed. These sides will be printed. Printed roundels on the top. Little Italian roundels. Actually,
Would be some cool cross element action going on there.
Yeah,
I like how sleek it looks. For
it is a very slick.
It's a very clean build.
Yeah, kind of did a really good job with this. I would like to see a regular French version at some point, but we already kind of did that. So, oh well.
No doubt these World War I biplanes have been knocked out of the park. Cadi, I love the
Cadi is like 4 or 5 this month.
Hey, when you're passionate, you're passionate. And
it's to be fair, I can't judge about that.
Yeah, Sherman guy.
We'll just wait on that. Oh, wrong spoiler. All right. Anyway, here's just a couple more view of the plays. Yep. It'll have an Italian pilot. His uniform is going to be like a mix of I want to say it's not an officer uniform per se, but it's like the gray. There'll be like gray legs and like a dark brown top on the minifig. Okay. Because it's hard to find pictures of these pilots, so they just kind of put their jacket over the uniform and just flew. Right. Which, for 1917, that makes sense. But yeah, that is about it. Oh, there will. This is a temporary. This will be the gun, but the barrel is
placeholder. Okay.
Yeah, that is a American World War II barrel right there.
Good to know. Obviously still in prototype phase, but it is available on pre-order right now on brickmania.com. Nate, thanks for checking in.
Spaghetti.
All right, and up next we have our final offering for Wunderwaffe bricks. This is the Oka, designed by Dan, and I got him here to talk a little bit more about this. What looks like an adorable spaceship, but is actually something much more sinister.
Right, this is actually a human-guided bomb. So, and rocket-powered at that. So this is like the 11 series Oka. They were designed to be a human-guided bomb dropped by a mothership, a bomber, as they approached American ships, American targets in the Pacific. This is how desperate the Japanese, the Imperial Army and the Navy were at the end of the war, that they were willing to sacrifice pilots and equipment. They made these, this is like the penultimate suicide aircraft. Like kamikazes were other aircraft that were just fueled up and given bombs and sent at ships to sacrifice themselves for the emperor. But this was a made to order.
Right.
It's like a flying coffin. It's a great honor, quote unquote, great honor to die for the emperor. And these young recruits would be recruited to go do just that. They'd be trained to fly into the target. They actually had special goggles that would flip down at the last second, so they wouldn't reflexively jerk up on the yoke when they're flying at the. Yeah, it's crazy. Wow. They thought this stuff out. So huge bomb in the nose. It's like a 1,200-pound bomb or bigger. This particular model, the 11, is a rocket powered. It has there was actually a jet powered one, and they'd come up with several others, like a long range one that could be launched from a submarine and take off on its own. But yeah, this is the most common one that you wouldn't really see. If you saw one of these coming at the war, it would be
unfortunate.
Yeah, they didn't do a terrible amount of damage. A lot of them never reached their target because the real flaw in the system is that the mothership that launched it was just a slow bomber, and of course that could be picked up on radar and intercepted by swarms of combat air patrol aircraft, flying top cover over the fleet. So not many of them did get through, but it did have some success. They sunk a American destroyer that was on picket duty, and one hit I believe it was the West Virginia, the battleship West Virginia. Of course, 1,200-pound bomb versus a gigantic battleship is not, typically you just sweep the debris off the desk.
So from a psychological standpoint too, I mean, that lets you know how desperate the enemy is. Anyway.
Yeah, they were very desperate, and the Americans actually joked about the desperation by the end of the war. I mean, it was no joke because it was serious business. These kamikazes were taking a toll on the American fleet. But the joke was that this is this is what our enemies become. They're so desperate, that they would get in a plane and literally fly to their death.
Right. So for the model itself, everything you see is printed?
Yes, it's printed. It's top and bottom, which is kind of
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, there's actually quite a bit of detail on this thing for being such a teeny little craft.
Right, and some of the other things they would have made like a trolley for this to go on. But I was like, I'm trying to keep it in a certain budget, and I was like, well, let's just spend the money on the decorations. And this was one of the. There are several of these in museums around the world. This is the most the most common. Color combination of what the surviving aircraft that were captured at the end of the war.
Okay.
So, of course, the cherry blossom, which gives the name Oka, is cherry blossom, and of course, the red rising sun of the Japanese Empire.
Boy, it could not have been easy to get that stripe to align so perfectly on this.
Well, they printed them together. It does have a very nice minifigure too. I should pull this guy out.
Yeah.
He is he's very similar to our other Japanese airmen. The difference being that he has his goggles printed on his head, right on his head there. Mm-hmm. And I can't get the
good clutch.
It's good clutch on that Lego visor. Well, he does have a rising sun on his forehead. Mm-hmm. I don't want to yank that off while I'm doing it. And the one notable thing is he doesn't have a life vest. Yep. He doesn't have a flotation device.
You only need what you need, I suppose, in that case.
It's a one-way ticket, one way or another.
There you have it. No pre-order here. This is just a straight-up release for Wunderwaffe bricks, available now on brickmania.com. Dan, thanks for checking in. Okay, and finally, we're checking in here with Landon, and this is kind of a special project. This is one that you've been kind of excited for. This is the World War II U.S. Marine Flamethrower Operator, which obviously means we have that awesome brick arms flamethrower. So tell me a little bit more about what we're looking at here, Lando.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, check out that flamethrower.
Yeah.
Will's actually had this design for a little while. And we finally talked him into producing a run for us. And rather than just having the flamethrower as a standalone, we decided to make a figure from the ground up for it. So we have here's a USMC, kind of Iwo Jima is that's sort of a theater, Pacific theater, would fit right in there. But yeah, that flamethrower is awesome. I think he came up with a brand new flame piece to go with that as well.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so I had seen that flamethrower a while ago, but then he just added that new flame piece to kind of really bring it to the next level. And that's a flamethrower. The backpack is attached to that plate, that kind of webbing harness as well. So it's really a complete package there, tube and everything. The Marine himself is Flamethrower Operator. He's wearing his like utilities uniform there in that kind of sand blue Lego color with that simulated HBT texture. Mm-hmm. He's got the gaiters. He's got these the rough out boots. Just a pretty standard loadout. The Marines were fairly uniform across the board, and even the Flamethrower Operators were using a lot of the same gear. One of my favorite pieces of this uniform would actually be that frog skin pattern helmet cover. So I actually have. Evan in customer service has an actual one that I was able to borrow from him to get nice reference shots, and we got that camouflage pattern and coloration about as close as you can get it.
Which that debuted on the Code Talker?
Here's I actually have the helmet from the Code Talker. That's the inside. So this thing in real life is actually it's reversible. You can kind of see that the beach side of it. Mm-hmm. But then we have this side out. So it's kind of depending on the environment that they're operating in. So yeah, Navajo Code Talker had the beach side out. This guy has just the standard green frog skin side out.
Very cool.
But I mean, one of my favorite patterns. Just awesome, right? So I think you'd be hard pressed to find a better interpretation of this in the Lego form out on the market. So really happy with how that turned out. Overall, it's just what else we want to go over on here, man. This is I I like his face. He's kind of got the grime going on there, maybe. It's probably hot. It's dirty. It's just a craziness. I don't know.
Well, it's going to be an awesome centerpiece for mock builders, that's
Yeah.
for sure. This is something that will definitely stand out in that detail, especially like you said with that flame piece is awesome. So I do not expect them to last very long, but we'll do what we can to make sure they're back and then get that flamethrower up and rocking as well. So there you have it, the World War II U.S. Marine Flamethrower Operator. Landon, thanks for checking in.
Thank you.
All right, so that will do it for the Friday sit rep. Coming up on Mondays when we're going to kick off our November charity drive, so we'll be sharing the profiles of various veterans and active service members who are also brick maniacs, and then we'll also be starting our drive with the Minnesota Military Families Foundation. So there'll be options to give on the website everywhere from $5 to $100. So we'll be doing that all month long. More details will drop on Monday. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but just wanted to give everyone a heads up that that is going to be awesome. And then for my Chicagoland people, for the people around our Chicago store, we are going to be doing an event there on the 12th, or the weekend of the 12th of November, because we're going to be doing a little bit of a facelift on that store, and so it'll be myself and Dan, a few others in that area for that weekend. So we'll do an event, I think, on Sunday. More details coming there, but mark it on your calendar, because I know some of you make a trip for that kind of stuff. So just want to give you a little bit of a heads up there. Otherwise, that will do it for the Friday sit rep. Thank you very much for watching.